First things first. Choose the artwork that you want to animate and duplicate the project so that none of the actions ahead affect your original art. Go into your layers and decide which element that you want to animate. The element should be on its own layer and kept separate from everything else for now. I want to animate my little daisies here, so I'm moving that layer up top away from all the others. Next, let's clean everything up a bit. So if you have any layers that aren't being used, go ahead and delete them. You can see here that I have several layers that are not being used, so I'm just going to get rid of those. If I ever need them again, they're in my original project. With your remaining layers, merge everything together except for the layer that you want to animate. So now I have my final piece on one layer and my daisies sitting separately on top. Group these two layers together and rename it as one. Each group that we create here is going to be one frame in your animation. So far, we already have our first frame done, so we can just leave it be. Then we'll want to create our second frame. So duplicate this entire group and number it as 2. From here, I'm going to move the objects that I want to animate ever so slightly. And I'll be careful not to edit the bottom layer because I want it to stay the same this whole time. So for my daisies, I'm going to rotate each one to the right to make it look like they're twirling a little. I'm moving them all in the same direction, but you can absolutely make this a bit more random if you like, or experiment with changing the size or other elements that work for your art. So now we have 2 frames. You could probably leave this be if you wanted to, but I'd like to take it a step further and add another frame. I'll duplicate the group I just worked on and number this 3. I'd like for it to look like my objects are continuing to twirl, so I'll rotate them all slightly again. You could do this in many more frames and make the movements much more subtle, and it would create movement that looks more fluid, but for the sake of this example and simplicity, we'll keep it to 3 frames. To check how it looks so far, head into your Actions menu, then Canvas, and toggle Animation Assist on. Once you press play, you're seeing all the different layers or frames that you've created playing on a loop. This definitely looks a little faster than what I was going for, so I'm going to change that. From here, you can go into settings and play around with the different options. I tend to keep mine on a loop and I'll experiment with the number of frames per second. The higher this number, the faster your objects will move. These settings will depend on what it is you're animating, so definitely play around with them and see what looks best with your particular work. In this example, I set my frame rate to around 7. Once you're happy with how it looks, it's time to export. Again, there are different options here that can be used for different platforms. To upload to Instagram, I like saving mine as an MP4. I find this helps retain the quality more than the other options for my work in particular. It essentially ends up a very short video that just repeats itself, although that isn't obvious at all to the viewer when you upload it. And you're done! I hope this helps.